Hey, what's up guys? I actually got my voice back, so yeah. I'm gonna be doing a tutorial on Oracle because a lot of people don't seem to really understand how this level works. So yeah, let's get to it.
What is it? That stench. I've smelled it before.
Right off the bat, you're gonna want to kill a grunt. The reason is because when the grunts are alive, there's an extra set of dialogue. Now, why only kill one? Because you don't want your allies to start trying to kill you, especially if you're on Legendary. Well, you can kill both grunts if you kill the first one in a specific way, but it doesn't always prevent your allies from trying to attack you. So, slice up all the flood corpses, pick up the carbine, if you don't already have one, and swap it with the sentinel beam. Throw the carbine right in front of the door. Alright, let's break down this room. You'll want to stand by the door so your allies will gather up by the door. If you turn around before you start hearing the hollow drone, the game is probably going to lag really bad. Find the remaining grunt, stand right beside him, and wait for the hollow drone to materialize as the heretic leader? Materialize is the word? Anyways, once that happens, immediately kill the grunt. Don't kill him before or your allies will get pissed off. Hope you like climbing. Climb to the top of the room in any way that you possibly can, and go to the area that I go to once you're at the top. Why do this? Because the door is tied to infection form spawns. What are infection forms? Little popcorn flood. And what better way to kill them than spawn kill them? I mean, we're trying to go fast here. So if the first and or second group of them spawn in one of these tubes, well, feel free to kill them. If not, just go to where I go afterwards. The third group always spawns in the middle, you know, that little glass container thing. Don't worry, you can count on your allies to kill the stragglers, right? Right? Turn around and check for the other spawns. If there aren't any, just look back down and spawn kill the next two groups. Only one more group will spawn after these two. After finishing them off, look around quickly and drop down. After killing one or two from that group, the door will open after a few seconds. Here's where the real fun begins. Once you cross that line on screen, the elevator auto-scroller begins. Now I'd like to stress something to you. In order to get the elevator to progress, you have to be within a specific area at specific intervals of time. Once you cross that line, you could just hide until the time is right. Once you cross this line, you'll hear that mechanism in the back of the elevator start to move. Let's speed this up a bit. Prepare yourself once you see or hear that mechanism in the back of the elevator start to move. When it stops, after 10 seconds, the elevator will be ready to move. So, get your butt in the damn trigger area. Now you can just drop all the way down to right above where the death barrier is, and then just jump into the trigger area when the elevator is ready to move. I'm not gonna do that because that's less fun. It also takes more effort and precision. Alright, let's speed this up because there's a little bit of waiting. You know the drill. 10 seconds after the thing stops. Drop down and camo at around 7 seconds. Now you're probably going to want to follow the path that I do to drop down so you don't have to fight any of the enemies. You might start getting shot at. If that happens, drop down here. So once you reach the bottom, it's just a waiting game. With a small catch, you need to jump into the trigger. Don't worry though, it's actually pretty easy. I'll make a small picture here in a second, once I get a good angle. Now, if you can't tell from my ridiculously poor drawing skills, the trigger area is just beside the ledge, and it's actually pretty easy to hit. Unfortunately, the only way to hit it is to jump into it, but, well, not everything is as easy as you want it to be, huh? Here's a side view. Just a quick reminder that this is not 100% accurate, but it's close enough. Now note, I'm going to be jumping slightly to the right of the ledge, and then at the last second I'm going to turn to actually land on the ledge. Now note that the sentinels spawn here, so if you're on legendary, go into this corner and camo. Now the next time the elevator moves, you're capable of dropping down to the door. Now this one is a visual cue, not a sound cue, so you're gonna have to look at the mechanism. Right when you see that tube thing detach from the bottom, start your timer. After 10 seconds, you can jump down, right here. Make sure to jump into the trigger, and don't jump too early or you will die. Don't worry though, it's actually really easy. And there you have it, elevator's done. Now it's time for the fun part. The next fun part. It's a bit of a mouthful, so I'll start off with a text box. Pick up the sentinel beam and destroy the closest corpse with the plasma grenade. Then start killing the heretics. After the heretics are dead, deal with the flood. If there's any combat forms, kill them with swords, or take out their corpses. The sentinel beam is actually ridiculously effective against the carrier forms, those big bulgy things that bring out the popcorn fluid. So yeah, if you're like me and you suck at jumping, you can actually force a checkpoint before the heretics spawn if you jump up to a certain place, such as up here. It's definitely a lot slower though, because you have to kill all of the infection forms, otherwise you won't get the checkpoint. So, if you're trying to go fast, I would recommend not doing this. Oh yeah, make sure you have at least one plasma grenade, you'll need it later. Once everything but the popcorn flood are dead, jump up and start killing the heretics. Once you kill the heretics, focus on the flood. Make sure that they don't kill you from behind. That can happen.
Ding dong, the demon is dead. I do not like meat in green can. Curse you, bad Tin Man.
Once the flood starts spawning, either check your timer, or if you haven't started your timer, start it. Oh yeah, and make sure you don't almost die like I did. You can either fight or hide, doesn't really matter. The flood spawn infinitely here, so doesn't really matter. The game tries to keep a minimum of 4 flood in this room, not counting the ones by the Famine Skull. If you're hiding, make sure to try to lure them by the door because you want to kind of take them out really quickly. It might be an auto-scroller, but we're still speedrunning. When it reaches 1 minute, start killing the flood. You might want to kill the popcorn flood too, and slice up any corpses you see, because if those corpses get revived, the door will take longer to open, because the game still thinks that there's enemies around. Once they're gone, the door is going to open, and you're probably going to get a checkpoint. If there's still infection forms around though, you're not going to get a checkpoint. Now, you don't need to kill all of the heretics, you just need to get them away from the door so it can close. Once it closes, it locks. Well, after half a second or so of closing, it locks. Same thing. Once the door opens, sword fly off of the carrier form to the right, and go about your merry way. Now sometimes the heretics will spawn here, and sometimes they'll spawn a little bit further up. Not to worry though, doesn't really matter. Well, it does if you're trying to optimize, but, well, this isn't a tutorial for optimization. The rest of the level is mostly self-explanatory, so I'll just pop in whenever I need to. Clear the following room of enemies, then the cutscene will appear. Remember that nade that I told you to keep? You'll use it here. Just watch. Now this isn't required, but it's something I've noticed. Sentinels tend to spawn in the opposite direction of the elevator button. This allows you to sword fly to your first cable. It speeds things up just a little bit, and it doesn't always happen, but hey, we speedrunning, man. Now after cutting the cable, you have to wait a little bit in order to cut the next one. My timing might be slightly inaccurate just because of lag, but, well, you know. Once you cut the last cable, immediately go to the elevator. If you don't, you might get launched up into the air slightly and you're gonna lose time. The rest of the level up until the Heretic Leader fight is basically just sword cancels and sword flies, so I'm just gonna skip everything except for the important parts. I hope you don't mind. The trigger actually extends slightly below the hanger, so you can aim for that if you want to save like a few frames or something. This next jump is kind of tricky, but I've found looking slightly to the left and strafing when you jump actually makes it work better. Don't take my word for it. Welcome to Sword Cancel and Sword Fly Hallway. It's a smart idea to shoot those containers, because if they blow up when you're right outside the door, they will kill you. Now there's two places to camo here. This strat camos later, so the grunts in the hallway are in a better position to sword cancel off of. The other way is probably better left seen than explained, so just, I guess, watch my PB if you want to see that one. Alright, Heretic Leader fight. It's easy. Camo, jump on top of the Seraph, which is that purple thing. You want to slice him in the back, not the front. You'll most likely miss him if you try to slice him in the front. If you're on easy, he'll already be dead. On Legendary, you're just gonna have to sword fly into those little spaces. You definitely don't want to be in front of him. Also make sure not to push him out, because, well, it'll take longer for him to come back. You'll have to push him somewhere in order to get him to move. It's smart to push him out a little bit and make him turn around. Then you just go behind him and then you just slash at him like crazy. Sometimes Guilty Spark talks. I think that's RNG, but don't take my word for that.
And the best the Forerunners could do was put these foul creatures on ice.
You want to know what happens if you're in front of him? Let me show you. Yep.
Come on.
That's it. There you go.
His edification was most enjoyable.
I had no choice, Holy Oracle. This heretic imperiled the great journey.
Oracle, great journey. Why do you members insist on using such inaccurate versions?
That is the Oracle.